When you remember Rocky, when everybody would throw a punch, like in the later movies, when you throw a punch, it would sound like fucking bricks hitting the wall, like, you know. But in this one, it was just straight up. It was realistic. All right, y'all. The time has finally come to talk about my favorite franchise of all time. And I'm being joined by a special guest because I could sit here and talk about this franchise, this movie that I'm about to talk about for about 15 to 20 minutes, but I like to share my joy with other people. So I'm being joined in this video by my man Z Reviews. I'm gonna leave the link in the description to his channel, Z Reviews. He talks about movies like myself. He has never seen any Rocky movie. I lit up like a Christmas tree. I said, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn about these Rocky movies today. So we're gonna be talking about the first Rocky, the template to every underdog movie that came after it, including one of my favorite movies, The Karate Kid. Now, I'm gonna try not to go too long because Z has a lot to say about this. I'm excited. This is his first time watching it. So, to those of you who don't know about Rocky, just click off my fucking video. I don't even want you on my channel, man. It's one thing if you've heard of Rocky and never seen it, man. But if you know nothing about Rocky, bounce, all right? I sound like a hypocrite because Z did say he never seen this, so I'll probably be kicking Z off too if he commented and was like, hey, man, I never heard about this movie. I mean, I never seen this movie. So anyways, Rocky is the underdog story of Rocky Balboa, down on his luck fighter, has no luck in life at all. He can't win in anything. Nobody respects him. He's a loan shark. Well, he works for a loan shark. He breaks hands. He breaks knuckles to collect money for Gazzo. He's basically a loser, okay? But he's a loser with a heart. You connect to Rocky right away. You love him. You know what I mean? You feel sorry for him and you want to see him succeed. So he's the loser that you're rooting for, the underdog. He gets a 1 in a million title shot at the heavyweight championship of the world against Apollo Creed, who at the time was based off of Muhammad Ali, the greatest. He gets this title shot. Not everybody wants to respect him, but Rocky gives the F you to everybody like, look, y'all ain't had my back before, don't fuck with me now. And he also finds love in another loser with a heart, who is very beautiful but doesn't know she is. She hides under her sweaters, her coats, and her glasses, her hats. But inside though, like Rocky was the one that made her discover her own beauty. You know what I mean? So this is Adrian's story as well. These are two lost souls that had no chance in life, but because they found each other, as Rocky says in the movie, we fill gaps. You know, she's got gaps, I got gaps, you know, we got gaps, you know what I mean? This is a perfect movie. This won Best Picture. This put Sly Stallone on the map, who at the time was going through his own troubles, had to sell his dog, the whole, you know Sly's story, man. He went through a lot of shit, and this movie became a success, and it spawned a franchise. Many people, they had their favorites, all right? A lot of people say Rocky 3, right? A lot of people say Rocky 4. Most people say Rocky 4. You know, everybody has their favorite Rocky, but I think no Rocky fan could ever deny that the first movie was the best movie overall. All right, we have our picks that we watch. I've seen Rocky 3 and 4 maybe more than any of them, but Rocky 1 was the best one. All right, so that's Rocky in a nutshell. He gets his shot against Apollo Creed. He goes the distance, but nobody goes the distance with Creed. And what made this movie different was that the protagonist didn't win in the end. That's what made this movie special. That this could have been a cookie cutter, you know, typical, okay, he's an underdog, he wins in the end, he gets the girl, all that shit. He gets the girl, he gets Adrian, okay? And like I said, Adrian comes to her own as well. Like, she loses the glasses, she loses the hat, has a total character arc, all right? Rocky loses in the end. He doesn't win the fight, but he goes the distance. So it is still a victory. It's a feel-good movie. At the time, my pop was telling me the stories how, you know, people were having their gray sweatsuits, running, training. Rocky inspired a whole generation. Inspired me. My pop to this day regrets putting me in front of a TV because being I was a kid, I was, you know, really, I just wanted to play, you know. He puts me in front of the TV, says, boy, sit down, watch Rocky. I've been hooked ever since. And to this day, my pop regrets it. He says, son, I shouldn't have put you in front of that TV, man, because now you're a nerd. I'm a happy nerd. I'm happy to be a nerd. I'm proud to be a nerd, damn it. I'm not saying damn it to my father. I'm not cursing. Dad, if you watch this, I'm not cursing. I'm just saying. But anyways, yeah, Rocky inspired me. I became a movie fan. I believed in training. Hell, I even followed the whole shit about drinking eggs. You know, I used to drink raw eggs when I was playing football and shit. I thought raw eggs would give me power. This movie is just, this is, every once in a while a film comes out that is just lightning in a bottle and just becomes a fucking phenomenon, and that's Rocky. So before I get into my final thoughts about this movie, y'all, I feel like this is a long introduction. This is longer than I wanted it to go. Let's get to Z Reviews and see what he has to say about Rocky.
What's going on, guys? Thanks firstly so much to Rashad G for having me in this review. First time we're collabing, and I'm just so grateful that we're having the opportunity to do so. And today we're checking out the 1976 movie Rocky, directed by John G. Avildsen, whose movie I'd only actually seen before seeing Rocky was only The Karate Kid and Karate Kid Part 2. Now, part of this series that me and Rashad have been talking about recently when I reached out to him, and I'm so thankful that he gave me the opportunity to be able to collab with him because he's an awesome guy, and if you haven't subbed to his channel already, please do so already. In terms of this review, you know, I hadn't seen a lot of classic movies, being honest with you guys, and Rashad said, right, well, it's time to take you to school. And I thought, great, I need a teacher, so why not? And he asked me to check out the film Rocky, which, believe it or not, till this day I had not seen until the other night when it's actually on Amazon Prime. So yeah, I managed to get a chance to check out the film Rocky. Of course, firstly stars Sylvester Stallone as obviously, of course, Rocky Balboa. We've got Carl Weathers as the awesome Apollo Creed. We've got Talia Shire as Adrian. We've got Burt Young as Paulie. And we've got Burgess Meredith as Mickey. So I hope I got all those right. I think I did. Now, anyway, of course, I'm sure Rashad has talked a bit about the plot and kind of essentially a bit about the film as well. So I will go into some spoilers. So if you've never seen Rocky like myself until recently, thanks for checking out the review so far. But yeah, maybe feel free to come back and check out the rest of the thoughts. So firstly, wow, how the hell have I not seen this film until now? I absolutely loved it. Firstly, I thought that it was so well directed. I liked the grittiness and kind of like the how they taped this movie. Of course, obviously it was in the 70s, so, you know, with different technology compared to now. And part of the series that me and Rashad have been talking about is doing kind of like, he's going to school me on films. I want him to do kind of like 80s reviews. So we're all going to kind of blend the two into one, I guess. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I just really liked how this film was directed. And I love that, the fact that there was felt like kind of like a raw edginess to this film in terms of how Sylvester Stallone trains as Rocky. The opening scene where he's in the boxing match, I thought was great because it established the tone for the film throughout. And I didn't feel like they kind of dropped that tone at any point. I also love the fact that the relationship between him and Adrian, I thought that was actually pretty well done as well. I actually cared about it, and I thought, you know, great, at least he's actually made a move on this girl. Although it does come across a bit creepy, and maybe nowadays you maybe couldn't come across like that as such in a movie. So I felt like for that timepiece though, it worked really, really well. Paulie the brother as well, I felt like he was pretty good. He had a couple of funny lines in there as well. And I like that he also worked with Rocky when he's training him in kind of like the meat factory and all like the meat slabs and stuff hanging around. Rocky's obviously giving a couple of like KO punches in front of like news cameras, etc., whatever he's doing. I like that part in terms of, right, this guy hasn't got much money. He's in a beat down, kind of run down flat. And the fact that, you know, he's not going to have state-of-the-art like punching bags or dumbbells or anything like that, because obviously that costs money, and the guy hasn't got that money. I mean, his apartment alone, it sucks. It's kind of like a run-down, beat-up apartment, but it makes it more realistic in terms of, like, right, this guy hasn't got much money, so he's actually got that realistic setting instead of being, like, flat-out broke, and he's got, like, a penthouse, for example. Mickey, the trainer, I felt like that was a really good relationship with him and Rocky, and I had kind of, like, some good feelings towards that. I felt like, right, this guy has got someone kind of to look up with, or he's got some guy to kind of help him out with that, and with his training, and of course, fight eventually Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers. And I like that relationship. I wish it kind of got a bit more screen time and they kind of had like maybe 1 or 2 extra scenes. Again, 2-minute scenes or whatever, or Rocky going into the gym and training alongside more with him, for example. I would have liked to have seen that. Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed was awesome. I really liked his performance. Now, I will say I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't give him a bit more time, because there was one part in this film when it's, like an agent for Apollo Creed is watching like young Rocky training with like the meat slabs when he's on the news. And Carl Weathers is like, yeah, well, look, I'm serious about this fight. Apollo Creed's like, I'm ready to go into this and beat Rocky, because this guy's just like a chump. He's not really known as such. And obviously Apollo Creed is the world champion, so he's going to obviously beat him as such. So he's not that worried. But I would have liked to have had Apollo Creed watching that news report, seeing Rocky training. And I would have liked to have seen, like, right, this guy is like a sheer determination, maybe a different look to him than compared to his other previous fighting challenges as such. And I would have liked to have then maybe seen Apollo Creed, even if it was like a 2 or 3 minute alongside Rocky, because we get Rocky doing like obviously the famous training montage in Philadelphia Steps, etc. But I would have liked to maybe alongside, or maybe like a separate scene, maybe a bit more of a brutality kind of sort, with Apollo Creed training and, kind of like a montage of that to show like, right, crap, maybe I have got to up my game against Rocky here, otherwise I'm not going to win. So I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more. And again, even if that added into the runtime, maybe an extra 5 minutes or so, wouldn't have hurt it. Because this film, as I watched it, I was actually really invested in it. And I'm really glad that Rashad recommended this to me, finally, because it's the first ever time I've seen it. And I can't believe it's taken this long to have seen such an awesome classic movie that I can really tell inspired a lot of people. One other thing that I was kind of related to as such in terms with Sylvester Stallone, when he was making this movie, obviously he struggled to have the money. He had to sell his dog at one point to fund this movie. He wanted to star in it, simply because the way I can relate with him is that creative side to him. He wanted to be the star. He wanted to get this project that he had a passion for made. Kind of like ourselves and Rashad, for example, we have a passion of making YouTube videos and kind of getting that off the ground and having the confidence to kind of do that. A side note with myself, I like writing books in my spare time as well. And, kind of having that passion and creativeness, you'll kind of do whatever you can to get that made. And I felt like I kind of really related that with Sylvester Stallone. Overall, awesome movie. I kind of had like odd little gripes that I mentioned before, but besides that, I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope Rashad asks me to check out the other ones, because I probably will anyway. But if I can do them part of a review, I'd like to see how this movie goes from number 1 to eventually Rocky 6. I don't know how it's going to get there, but I'm sure it will connect in somehow. But yeah, Rashad, firstly, thank you so much for having me on this review. Really appreciate the time and you guys checking out these thoughts. And I'm going to hand the floor back to Rashad to wrap up with this review. So thanks, guys.
Bro, I appreciate your enthusiasm for this movie. I was kind of nervous because I know when it comes with old movies and, with the younger generation, they're like, this movie wasn't too good and it'll hurt my feelings. Anthony A. Perez, if many of you may know, we do a tit for tat series, and Anthony Perez has hurt my feelings quite a few times on some of my beloved classics. But in return, I know I hurt his feelings too, because he gave me some Disney movies that I shit on. But Z, I'm happy that you enjoyed this, and I'm going to be sharing the other movies with you. So look out. We're going to be reviewing 2, 3, 4. I'm debating on 5. And of course, Rocky Balboa. And I believe you did say you've seen the Creed movies, man. So we'll probably skip those. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what you have to say about the other ones, because some of the gripes that you had with this movie, two kind of quenches that thirst, okay? So yeah, Apollo Creed didn't have a lot of screen time because Apollo Creed was just an obstacle that Rocky had to get through. But the reason why you didn't see him training so much, and the reason why you didn't see a lot of him, because Apollo, he was smelling his own piss. He didn't take the fight seriously at all. So I doubt he trained more than a couple of weeks for this fight. This is supposed to be just an easy show for the people to give this unknown a chance, knock him out. I'm hailed as a hero. It's a narrative that he wanted to sell. He didn't take Rocky seriously at all. And when they got in the ring, Rocky gave him the shit, and he realized this is not a damn show. This is a damn fight, like his trainer said. So yeah, Carl Weathers is definitely he definitely shined as Apollo Creed, and that was his defining role. Like everything you've seen him in ever since, you always see him as Apollo Creed. Even in Happy Gilmore, which was another career-defining moment when he played Chubbs, but still, he's Apollo Creed. You'll always see him as Apollo Creed. So he did kind of get typecast in that, but oh well, if you can leave this earth and say he was famous for one character that everybody knows, your life was worth it. All right, but everybody in this movie, from Burgess Meredith, who played Paulie? Oh my God, Paulie, racist ass Paulie. I love Paulie though. Oh my God, Burt Young. Sorry, Burt Young. Yes, Burt Young is Paulie. Talia Shire, who should have won for Best Actress for Adrian and Rocky. I think Talia Shire and Sly had the best on-screen chemistry. They worked as a couple. You believed as a couple. And like Z said, there was a moment where if this movie was made now, he would probably get canceled because of the whole scene where she was in Rocky's apartment and she was trying to leave and Rocky wouldn't let her. He's like, hey, yo, don't go. Hey, yo, I want to kiss you, you know. You ain't got to kiss me back if you don't want to, but I want to kiss you, you know. And today women would be like, no, he's forcing himself on her. Me too, Adrian, you don't have to go through that. But look, fuck that. They had 20 years together, had a child together. Adrian was the happiest she ever been, so fuck that. Sometimes you gotta be the alpha male and be like, no, woman, I love you, and I'm gonna be with you. Okay, that turns a lot of women on. It's an alpha move, all right? We need alphas now. You know what I mean? The fight itself, okay, and I'm switching gears here. The fight itself was probably the weakest of the series. With each movie, the fights got better choreographed. They got more intense. They just became more iconic as the films went on. You know what I'm saying? Even though 3 is my personal favorite, but 4, that last fight with Drago, I was like, God damn, you know, that was intense. But yeah, the fight worked for the movie, but compared to the other films, the fight in Rocky 1 was the weaker of all of them. But probably the most realistic, because this was before when you remember Rocky, when everybody would throw a punch, like in the later movies, when you throw a punch, it would sound like fucking bricks hitting the wall, like, you know. But in this one, it was just straight up. It was realistic, you know. So wrapping this up, y'all. Rocky gets an A+, y'all. One of the greatest films ever. The template for every underdog story that came after that. Whenever you see an underdog movie, you say, this is the Rocky of this. You know, the Karate Kid is the Rocky of karate. You know, Warrior is the Rocky of MMA. You know what I'm saying? You could take any movie. What's another one at that off the top of the dome? Like Hoosiers is like the Rocky version, as the basketball version of Rocky. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Rocky version of basketball, excuse me. So yeah, A+ for Rocky. This puts Sly on the map. I'm a big Sly Stallone fan. This is one of the few celebrities that I meet that I'm probably really starstruck by. So y'all, and yeah, big ups to John G. Avildsen. Forgive me for not mentioning before, John G. Avildsen knocked out the park with this. With little to no money, he filmed this shit almost guerrilla style. It like Z said, had a gritty look to it. You know what I'm saying? Like this film looked dirty. Like it felt, you could smell the streets when you watch this movie. It just had an authenticity to it that the other films did not have. And that's why Rocky is the best movie of them, but it's not my personal favorite. So anyway, Z, thank you for joining me in this review, bruh. Can't wait for you to watch the other ones. Once again, link is in the description. Z Reviews. Check him out. Subscribe to his channel. I'm going to come through this fucking phone and bust your ass. Let me stop. Anyways, y'all, if you like and dig this content, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell in the corner. Thank you all for watching. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.